Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. Uh, all right. Nasty big red bearish bar yesterday, violating with no uncertainty the 50 MA, one level of major support, and I would held marginally a little bit right on the edge, breaking just below this major support level. So let's remove that. You can see it's right on the line there, those pivots. And for those that don't remember or aren't aware, major support is a pivot low prior to a higher high. So it's closed below that. We remove that. Obviously, up above here is now resistance, the 50 MA for sure, which is aligned with the bottom of that bar, which is aligned with minor resistance, which you can see here on the 60-minute chart. And there's an open void. What does void mean? See the gap, unfilled gap here. And you can see prices are up here a little bit at the bottom of the wide range bar. So while we look to over here, futures are up, Dow's up 200 points and whatever it is, pretty much meaningless as far as the chart goes. You see this little congestion right there. Look at the pivots on the 15-minute chart, so clearing that, there's another group of pivots right there. So plenty of overhead resistance, but then a void up above. So we'll see where today goes. After yesterday, we could have a boring kind of a day, consolidation day, setting up a 1, 2, 3 lower, which under there would set up the move into the void, coming down into the unfilled gap and major support. Point out this all started with the beginnings of a breakout bar failure. It's historically an early warning sign. So when I pointed this out back at that time, it was a wide bar up breaking out, and it was this inside bar. And we talked about if it broke the low, maybe it wouldn't have been, would have continued higher. But when it breaks that low, it sets up the unexpected. Meaning, here, resting, breakout, inside bar resting, kind of like here, one today, if we were to get a consolidation day, 2, and then 3. So while this was up a whole lot already, it had, 3.5 weeks of consolidation. If you count the top of that bar, it rested here, went up, rested here, broke out, inside day, not supposed to break the low. And so now we're coming down to support, and unless a miracle happens, we expect it'll go down lower. The 20 MA is the same as or equal to about the 100 MA on the daily chart. So you can see the cursor on the daily chart lines up with that major support, a little below the unfilled gap. So that would be an obvious downside target. Just looking to the left, I'm not going to say no trend lines, fib tools. I mean, at this point, maybe you have CNBC or other. Those that can connect dots will say it broke the uptrend line and now it's heading lower. They'll have to find new lines, see where that kind of lines up. And anywhere it lines up, if it comes down here, they'll find some line that, if you look to the left, will be aligned with just what's over to the left there. Also, 500, whole number, usually clustered with open interest of puts and calls, but I doubt that will stop it because it's got the unfilled gap and major support down below in the moving average. So the alignment of all of those would be a more probable place for prices to bottom out. All right, SPX. This is what's supposed to happen. You remember yesterday's conversation? It was like, hey, this market's gapping up. Gapping up a relatively significant amount. You see this bar here was gapping, well into the red bar, and the strike wasn't moving up. So as I said, I hadn't seen that kind of reaction to a bullish gap in a long time. But, in retrospect, if I see it again, Be like, okay, this probably means it's going to be bearish, even though it's gapping up as much as it did. And so there was a lot of back and forth early in the morning because of the gap up. Let's just go back here to the 15-minute chart. 12 o'clock. Here, it gapped up, gapped above all of this congestion from the day before. And, up it went, chopped around for a while. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it didn't go up and it collapsed. But collapsing as it did, after a gap like that is unusual. It usually doesn't come down that hard. But, we had this whole, Israeli, Iran bombs things, what was happening. It was kind of a, moving situation. The gap fill, it had made the bounce off of the gap fill down again. And then future attempts was just sell, 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 sell. Where typically you would get more meaningful bounces in those areas. They weren't meaningful and they moved lower. So, all right. So today, like minor gap up, and look at the reaction now after yesterday, which now is it going to come down here today to the unfilled gap? I mean, every credit spread is no, I don't think it'll do that. But look at how far away it is from where yesterday was. So I don't think it's coming down here. And if it does, it would have to move so far. It would, and I'm just eyeballing this, it would be a larger distance than yesterday's bar. Remember, look at yesterday's bar. I'm just going to spread this out a little bit. Let's see here. Yesterday's bar was huge. It even surpassed the one from this Thursday. So to come all the way down here, common sense just says, well, could it get down there? Yeah, of course, but all right, let's just do this and kind of draw some lines here. So that's a whole lot of points from the open. So it could get there. If we were to get another big bar like that, that would be amazing, to see that big of a move in 2 days. And of course, waiting 10 minutes or so since it's gapping up to see if it starts to roll over. We can make an assessment there. And is it going to get back up to the top of here? I think that's unlikely since it's opening, in this area here. And that major support is gone. Right. And so it held the area of this pivot low, this major support, and this unfilled gap, I believe, will get filled in the coming days since prices have rolled over and now we have another wide range bar. Let's mark the chart. It was part of this week's chart of the week, marking your bars as practice as to what's happening. 1, 2, 3s, shock bars, different reversals, and so on. Right. Q's gigantic big bar. Right. This was the magnificent 7-day. Apple, moving up strongly. Huge bar, breaking through, major support, void risk here. Where is it? Bottom of the bar. And so being up a few points, no big deal. It's even kind of double topping at those pivots on the 15-minute chart. It should go lower. As I said, going a lot lower today. There is the possibility because there's nothing here to the left. There's nothing there. The 20, this 20, which is the 100, if those are even using a moving average as a reference point, is in alignment with that unfilled gap. And I mean, those Fibonacci aficionados, I don't know where they would connect their dots to, but anyway, there's subjective reference points between here and here. But it's likely by the, when this is all over, and I don't know, it'll be all over, but we look for it to come down into here since it's now started to move lower. Just jump to the transports for a minute. Close below the 200 bottom of this trading range, and you know, obviously could go lower, but it's moved a long way in a short amount of time. And let's take a peek at the Dow. Right. Started the way down, wide range bar. Maybe this is what we might see for a couple of days. You're not, we can't be absolutely sure, but you say wide range bar, stay in the lower half. It was on major support at the time it broke. Now it's down below the next level of major support, and it's got some minor support, which it broke. There's minor support, and the next level is down here. Now, we'll have to see. It certainly looks like it has the potential to get there. There's really almost nothing to stop it from going down, and that would be an obvious place where buyers would show up if prices get down there. When they get down there, who knows? Will it be today? Will it be by the end of the week? Will it have a miracle reversal? We don't know. Right now, it looks like it's going to go down there. All right. Just take a pick. The futures aren't going to tell us much difference here. Little inside day there. Room to go down. NQs, broke down. Gigantic 180 reversal. Since they're 24 hours, they look a little different than the ETFs. Internals. So we're down here. Remember yesterday I said if it gets down near a minus 300, could be close enough for government work, but there's no support. And this hasn't come down. Let's take a look at this here. The day-to-day. Look, there wasn't even after yesterday. This smells of complacency. Look, over here, they were buying these puts at the end of the day, and these were at the end of the week. And now what we would have liked to have seen was a close up here with this breadth being down here, at least for, a reasonable bounce day. But, let's see. Historically, when this is down around, down below minus 300, you get a bounce. I would go back and look at those times, how many down days were, but this is happening, after a resting period and a break. So common sense says it's not likely to bounce very much. Yeah, the VIX closed, and I might have to change the symbol here. I don't know if this is going to be updated. For those of you that your interest rates stopped updating, so this is cash. It didn't stop updating, but like VXN, or I'm not sure, these interest rates here, the CBOE is now charging another $2.50. I guess when you multiply that by hundreds of thousands of people, it's substantial. But anyway, in my platform, you have to put a see, it wasn't updating, hyphen CGI, I believe it is.
Charging for what, Greg?
The data.
For what?
To see these interest rates.
Man.
TNX hyphen CGI. Shit. In my platform, when you put a number, so now I have to, how can I do this? TNX CGI. It wasn't an underscore, it was a hyphen. Anyway, I'm not going to play with it now, but point of information, if yours is not updating, you need to call your platform provider and get that added, or if you can log in and do that. That's how you'll get that data. Bitcoin on the 200 MA on major support. We'll see if it stabilizes. Gold is up, but consolidating its gains. Looked like it would pull back after the topping tail. still acting bullishly. Silver, same story. Crude oil, I guess everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop to see what missiles or bombs go off, but it's holding up here. Yesterday we talked about this being like a bull flag, push up in this little consolidation there. And yeah, let's see where bonds are. If they're moving down, interest rates are moving up, they're diving. So interest rates moving up, which does not hold well for this market, holding that gap up, coming down to some support here. And euro, inching down. So dollar moving up, interest rates moving up. Don't put much weight on this market gapping up here and doing something of significance. And yeah, I mean, just looking across the board, just holding the 200 MA for now. Financials, yesterday was gapping up with Goldman. That gave it all back. So, look, things look like they have to go lower. That's basically the bottom line. Technology, and when they get to their respective levels, we'll see how things line up and start looking for bottoming patterns if those are in the works. Well, yours, man.
Good morning. Yeah, other than the Dow, courtesy of UNH, everything's flat. Every day in the green room, we talk about our closing bias. And, factory work is provided we don't gap too much like we did yesterday. Then we had a full bearish bias. So if it was a small gap, then we said we're going to short the gap up, once we get a pattern. And so this is perfect 15-minute chart that we can view as if the market did not close at 4 o'clock. It's perfect. It's just a consolidation on the bottom, 20% of this. It's a consolidation that continued the bias of the bigger time frame. So yeah, IWM, I just see blasted to a new low here pre-market. So, 30-minute low, full bullish, bearish bias. All right. Worth very short. Mark, we have a put spread, came in a bit. Alarms, let me look at alarms and earnings. I had an alarm on F-word, and we talked a lot about the type of new short setups that I would be interested in. And I don't like them straight down far from the 20. I like them consolidating close to resistance with a void. It's that simple. Give me a pattern that's like that. So for words on my list, that alarm went off. ESTC, my low alarm went off. That was one we entered yesterday as a new trade. Yesterday was kind of the easy picking day to get into more shorts, and our shorts were going off way before the broader markets filled the gap, which is a testament to relative weakness and us picking good short patterns. All right, so we're in that, it's fine. Our Q we entered yesterday in our ETF ladder. I had a low alarm go off on that. Beautiful breakdown. Look, so our ETF ladder looks at bigger time frames to be in alignment to go for bigger gains. So, our target on this is probably 48. Whatever. We'll just manage it. But you see how that was it was a closing breakdown on Friday. Gapped up, enter under Friday's low. Perfect ETF trade. And then Alex, I had your new toy, the XYZ alarm go off. Recent IPO, gapping up here. So it's a toy, Destiny Tech 100. All right, so those are all of my alarms. Let's check earnings on another interest list. PXAI gapping down, no interest. MIT K gapping down, but it's a mess. So look at the volume that people were buying this ahead of earnings. And so that was not a good decision. But the weekly monthly was a breakout. I just think it's going to take a long time to stabilize and rebuild. Vuzi, had a nice little pop there a couple of weeks ago, but now I think it's just continuing its death trend lower. It looks horrible. That was another crazy day ahead of earnings. What the? Look at that friggin' range. UNH, so that's a big old gap for a big company. Possible call spread, 30-minute low, but I really don't have a good bias right now. J&J selling off into earnings. So it's bearish daily, weekly, monthly, but I have it in the bottom right here. I surely wouldn't be looking at this as a new short. This is too extended, too far from resistance in the 20 MA. So ideally, it just, yeah, that's exactly what my bias done as of now, kind of the excessive gap category for day trade short and call spreads. So I'm just going to watch this every day for a reversal and then see if we can get a Climo. BAC's swap, no interest. Morgan, we know. They came out and started investigating them. I think the Treasury, and that's what caused that collapse. But now it's a big old gap. I was looking at this one to do a put spread, but there's actually no good juice. A PNC gap breakdown, no pattern. Burger King, no pattern. It was gapping over yesterday's high, which would have made it a 30-minute high candidate. We'll come back to it. Northern Trust looks possibly lower as a day trade, but no great setup. Eric 509 gapping over a red bar. So that's a bullish gap. If that settles down, that could be a day trade. I don't think you have a real big target. Maybe 5.25 up here, but this shows it gapping up $2, but I don't see any prints. LMT got a $8 billion contract, was up, now down. No, nothing to do there. I got this off Sam's list. So this one I like as a new pattern. It's a sell setup with a, bearish here. You got a void, you got a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. But I got my alarm on that. Lily is another good short idea. I got my alarm at 750. And I like that it's gapping up a little. That in the window. This thing's been on that tear over its weight loss drug or whatever. AYV, possible short watch. LYV, Justice Department is coming after them for, I guess, price fixing or whatever with their tickets. That's a big old nasty gap at 200 in support. So 30-minute high. Put spread idea, day trade idea once we get a setup. Skill gap breakdown, the gap's too big. ITCI gapping up, massive bullish gap, but excessive. Boeing is just steady, ugly selling. And there's that DYZ we talked about. Alpha Lima. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See that this is what I like. Bearish consolidation is either building resistance like this, but and then we got a void. So yeah, let's set an alarm at 4805. Yeah, that looks good as a new setup. I always set my alarms early. Give me a heads up. All right, that's all that. So now let's see what we have from yesterday. Watch list, which is not a whole lot. This was a pro gap yesterday. Deeper tracement. Ideally, it chops around for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, builds us a base of support on this breakout area, minor support, and then that will give us an entry. WBA is bearish, the downtrend, daily, weekly, monthly. Cat, it's a new short idea. It's in a strong uptrend, but breakout failure, bearish price action, gave up yesterday's gap, closed with an engulfing bar and a void. So that is an idea for word we talked about. It was a call spread idea. TXT is another short idea. Let me set alarm at 93. Yeah, looks good. LDOS, new short idea. Make sure I got my alarm at 124.50. Yep, I got it. 124.40. Airbnb. I thought you said yesterday you did not like LDOS. I guess I read that wrong. Airbnb was a beautiful call spread candidate, but no juice. If we get a 123, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it can go down to 150. IZM, this crazy Climo that doesn't want to fall. ACLS was on our list yesterday. New short idea, see, close to resistance in the 20. So let's short yesterday's low. My alarm went off early. Stop Thursday's high. USFD, Sam. Ideally, we get a 30-minute low. I'm going to put that in another window. USFB. So yeah, that looks good. All right, back to ACLS. I'm gonna type up. Those are all the alarms I have. So not much kicking here at the open. It's under 102.98. Yeah, Don told us about Powell talking at 115. Thursday's high. 722. IZM. IZM up alarm. Wow, that was the Climo. Lily alarm, Sam, that was you too. Uh, Lily, I like this too. It's just a matter of let's short it under this. 7 short last week's low. Stop yesterday's high. Let me check options also. $746.83. CFLT low alarm. That UNH coming in, Don. I don't know if you're watching, but you and I had the same bias. You know, when you find your tier ones that you're going to trade at the open, you got to focus on those. But you know, I'm obviously doing so many more things. I just do my best as all with my little thumbnails. And stuff. Yesterday's high 760. Options on Lily. That a Tesla more pain. They had some people leave. EV demand slowing. Despite Biden trying to cram them down your throat. Lily's too spready in the option department. Yeah. Pelletier short. Let me look.